Hi guys, I'm back with another video. Today's video is going to be Friday Night Smackdown News 132. As always, there is not a lot of news, so let's just get right into it. So, there is not a lot of news for this Friday Night Smackdown because this is the Friday Night Smackdown after Survivor Series War Games, and they're pretty much building up to the next pay-per-view, which I believe is Clash of Champions, but I'm not too sure about that, but I think it is Clash of Champions. But anyway, like I said, it's the build-up to the next pay-per-view, so let's just get right into it. So, the first thing, Bianca Belair starts off Friday Night Smackdown. Bianca Belair segment. Bianca Belair calls out Io Sky for a women's championship match. Interrupted by Io Sky. Io Sky segment. Charlotte Flair and Shotzi segment. Brawl ensues between Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair, Shotzi, and Damage Control. Bianca Belair, Charlotte, Shotzi make Damage Control retreat. Second thing, Damage Control segment. Third thing, singles match, Bobby Lashley versus Butch. Winner of the singles match, Bobby Lashley. Fourth thing, Paul Heyman and Nick Aldis segment. Fifth thing, interview with Butch, interrupted by Pretty Deadly. Pretty Deadly segment, Pretty Deadly attacks Butch. Sixth thing, interview with Santos Escobar. Seventh thing, singles match, Santos Escobar versus Joaquin Wilde. Winner of the singles match, Santos Escobar. Eighth thing, Santos Escobar attacks Joaquin Wilde. Joaquin Wilde is saved by Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee makes Santos Escobar retreat. Ninth thing, Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis segment, and all that segment is that both Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis are trying to sign Randy Orton. So Adam Pearce is trying to sign Randy Orton to Monday Night Raw, but Nick Aldis is trying to sign Randy Orton to Friday Night Smackdown, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. 10th thing, Logan Paul segment, interrupted by Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens segment, interrupted by Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. Grayson Waller and Austin Theory segment. Basically, this Logan Paul segment was Logan Paul announces that there will be a 8-man tournament. It will be a tournament to find out who the next number one contender will be for Logan Paul's United States Championship. And the competitors that are in the tournament are Bobby Lashley, Kevin Owens, Grayson Waller, Austin Theory, Karrion Kross, Santos Escobar, Dragon Lee, and a mystery NXT wrestler. It could really be anybody from NXT at this point, but somebody from NXT will also be in this tournament. 11th thing, singles match, special guest Logan Paul, Kevin Owens versus Grayson Waller. Winner of the singles match, Kevin Owens. 12th thing, singles match, Bianca Belair versus Kairi Sane. Winner of the singles match, Bianca Belair. 13th thing, this is basically what's going to happen on next week on Friday Night Smackdown. The one thing I would like to say about next week's Friday Night Smackdown. Next week's Friday Night Smackdown is kind of special because it's going to be Friday Night Smackdown News 133 special tribute to the troops. So next week, Friday Night Smackdown will be a tribute to the troops episode of Friday Night Smackdown, which typically tribute to the troops is its own show. Typically, they have their own show for it, but they didn't do it this year. So, Tribute to the Troops this year is going to be a special episode of Friday Night Smackdown. So, anyway, here's what's happening next week on Friday Night Smackdown, Tribute to the Troops. So the start of the first round matches in the United States Championship Tournament, there will be a singles match, Santos Escobar versus Dragon Lee, and a singles match, Bobby Lashley versus Karrion Kross. Also, there will be a singles match between Charlotte Flair and Asuka, and CM Punk returns to Friday Night SmackDown, and that's basically what is happening next week on Friday Night SmackDown. 14th thing, Randy Orton decides segment, interrupted by Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman's segment, Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso attack Randy Orton, but Randy Orton is saved by LA Knight. Randy Orton and LA Knight take out Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso of the Bloodline. Randy Orton signs to Friday Night SmackDown. Also, another thing I would like to mention is Randy Orton RKO's Nick Aldis, but that's not really that important. But, yeah, I'm not too surprised that Randy Orton signed to Friday Night SmackDown just based on the storyline they're going with him. I talked about this a little bit more on Monday Night Raw, but Randy Orton, he's kind of got two feuds going on. He wants to continue his feud with the Bloodline, because before, Randy Orton and Matt Riddle, the team of RK Bro, were feuding with the Bloodline. And then Randy Orton gets injured by the Bloodline. Matt Riddle is released by WWE. I don't really want to talk about Matt Riddle, but he was a part of it. But then Randy Orton returns, and he wants to continue his feud with the Bloodline because the Bloodline injured him. And then there's also like a mini feud they're doing with Randy Orton between the Judgment Day, but I don't think that's going to really happen now because, like I said, Randy Orton officially signed to Friday Night SmackDown to continue his feud with the Bloodline. So that is Friday Night SmackDown News 132. And if you guys like this video, please like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Period.